Hi, I'm Mia, and I know what it's like to be poor. I've lived with my mom. Her job didn't pay that well, and we were constantly short of money. We didn't even have enough money for food, let alone new clothes or anything fun. But one day, everything changed. During dinner that day, Mom was beaming. Mia, I have great news. Soon our life will change. What do you mean, Mom? I met the man of my dreams. He is so handsome, smart, rich, and most importantly, he loves me very much. I'm so happy for you. It was true. I really wanted to see my mom happy. It was so rare to see her smile. At school, I found out a new student had been transferred to our class. Meet Charlie. He will be studying with you from now on. Wow, which dump did he crawl out of? That was rude, of course, but the guy's clothes really did look old. He also had dark circles under his eyes that made him look malnourished. Everyone laughed and he silently sat down in his seat. In the cafeteria, I saw Charlie looking at some change. I knew it wouldn't be enough to buy a full meal. I was right. The new guy only bought the cheapest sandwich and sat away from everyone. I felt terribly sorry for him because I knew what being poor was like. I decided to approach him. Hello, you are Charlie, right? Yes, I'm Mia. Do you want some of my juice? Look, the beggars are friends now. Don't mind those idiots. I shared my food with Charlie. We had lunch, and then we got to talking. Turned out that Charlie wasn't a bad guy. He was actually kind and very nice. I was in for a surprise at home. My mom was spinning in front of the mirror. She was about to leave. Wow, a new dress? Where did you get it? I told you our life was about to change. I'm going on a date with Paul. Have dinner without me, okay? We still had some leftovers, I think. I opened the refrigerator and was stunned. There was so much food inside. We didn't even cook that much for Christmas. Made me believe things really wouldn't be the same anymore. At school, everything was going as usual. Classes, assignments. But then Miss Edwards, the teacher responsible for our class, came in. We are organizing a tour to an Indian village. Is anyone interested? I really wanted to go, but it cost $50 a ticket. Oh, we couldn't afford that. I didn't even ask my mom if there was a chance I could go. However, a couple of days later, Miss Edwards was reading out the names of those who were going when I heard her say my name. Miss Edwards, there's been a mistake. I didn't pay for the tour. You didn't? That's strange. We got the payment. You've got a secret Santa. Huh, who could it be? Hey, Charlie. Huh? Are you going? He looked at me like I was crazy. Mia, it costs $50. I'd love to, but I can't afford it. Call me a kind fool, but I decided he needed it more than I did. Miss Edwards, let Charlie go in my place. The teacher was surprised, of course, but did as I asked her to. Okay, I'll add his name to the list then. Mia, what are you doing? I can't. Charlie, come on, you'll love it. Go and then tell me how it went. I was glad to help someone fulfill their dream, but after class left, I felt a little sad. Knock, knock. Why so sad? I'm all right, Mom. Let's go shopping and cheer you up a bit. I was surprised by the idea because we'd never had enough money to go shopping before. We only ever bought clothes if putting it off was no longer possible. But this time was completely different, and we had a great time. We even went to a cafe. Mia, I have news for you. You're full of surprises lately. You and I have been invited to a dinner. Great, who invited us? Let it be a surprise. The next evening, we dressed up, got a taxi, and went to dinner. When the car drove into a rich neighborhood, I could only stare at the gorgeous mansions around us. We stopped in front of one of them. What a house. If only I could live in a place like this. Mom just smiled mysteriously. A man was walking towards us. Good evening, darling. Yes, apparently that was Paul, Mom's boyfriend. Hello, you must be Mia. I'm so glad to meet you. Paul turned out to be very nice, but I still felt a little uncomfortable being surrounded by all that wealth. Sweetie, Paul and I want to tell you something. I was intrigued. Mia, your mom and I love each other, and we want to get married. We're engaged. Wow! I gaped in surprise, but I was very happy for my mom. She deserved to be happy. Wow, congratulations! Soon we moved into Paul's mansion. My new room was 4 times bigger than my previous one. I was getting used to eating good food, having pocket money and a closet full of fashionable clothes, but it was hard. It felt like I was living someone else's life. The day after the move, I put on my old clothes out of habit and went to school. Everything was going fine, but then, wow, what a car! 3.0-liter engine, all-wheel drive? Quit drooling, you won't ever have enough money to buy it. There was a gorgeous car in the parking lot. Everyone was staring at it. I'd never been interested in cars and was about to walk by, but, Miss Mia, where are you going? A young guy in a suit got out of the car. I stopped. It was starting to rain. The guy took off his jacket and threw it over my shoulders. What was going on? Miss Mia, Mr. Paul asked me to meet you after school. Oh. The driver opened the door for me. My classmates looked like Captain America himself appeared in front of them. The next morning, everyone wanted to know the details. Hey Mia, what's up with that car? Did your family win a lottery? You could say that. I heard Mia's mom has a rich fiancé and now milks him for money. Everyone laughed. I hated that. How could they say that about my mom? She would have never dated someone for money. At home, I felt even worse. Honey, I don't want Mia going to school in such rags. Mom looked at me helplessly. I'm sorry, Paul, but I can't get used to all the luxury. It's much easier for me to live modestly. You're embarrassing me. What will people think? Darling, Mia will soon get used to this lifestyle and dress according to her new status. Right, sweetie? Yeah, I guess. I got even more upset when I passed by my mother's bedroom in the evening and heard her crying. Was it really my fault? If so, then I would get over myself, for Mom's sake. I started wearing the clothes Paul had bought for me and coming to school in a car with a personal driver. Of course, that didn't go unnoticed. Hey Mia, hi! A school star that hadn't even looked into my direction before greeted me in the cafeteria. Mia, you look great. Sit with us. Let's chat. Then I noticed Charlie, who was sitting away from everyone else as usual. Thanks, girls, but not today. Excuse me. Well, the rich girl is too cool to sit with us now. I took my tray and sat down across from Charlie. He gave me a weird look and stayed silent for a long time. Hello? You bought one of the cheapest sandwiches. Why do you even eat lunch in the school cafeteria and not in a restaurant? I was confused. Was Charlie jealous? Well, I sighed and decided to tell him the truth. You know, Charlie, the lavish life isn't for me. I put up with it all for Mom's sake. She seems to really be in love with her fiancé. He's rich and demands we act accordingly. To be honest, I'd love to go back to my old life. When my mom and I were dealing with difficulties together, we were very close, but now there seems to be a gap between us. I get it. My father is a very rich man. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. But why do you look like this then? Why are you always short of money? I had a fight with him. He was sure that I wouldn't be able to survive without his money or amount to anything. I decided to run away from home. He shouted I would come crawling back as soon as I was leaving. Charlie got a part-time job, rented a room, and transferred to a regular school. I did all that to prove to my dad that I didn't need his money to survive. I was very touched by Charlie's story. Hearing that from his own father must have been terrible. I thought about it on the way to Paul's mansion. I saw a very unpleasant scene when I arrived. You must do everything the way I want. Don't forget who provides for you and your daughter. It seems Paul and Mom were fighting. Paul, wait, listen. No, you listen to me, honey. I'm the one who earns the money here, so you have to listen to me. Got it? You're free to go if you don't like something. Wow, it turned out Mom's fiancé was trying to make her feel guilty for being poor. I pay for everything up to your daughter's school trips, but she doesn't appreciate it. So that was who had paid for that tour. Mom ran to her room in tears, and I clenched my fists in anger. I wouldn't let anyone treat my mom like that. I decided to talk to her as soon as possible. I knocked on her bedroom door. Mom, it's me. Mom opened the door and tried to act like nothing was wrong. Honey, hi, I didn't even hear you come home from school. How was your day? Mom, I heard everything. What are you talking about? You will never be happy with someone who reproaches you and makes you change the way you live. Oh, baby. Mom started crying again and told me that she was doing it for me. At first, Paul was very nice. He gave me flowers and did everything a perfect boyfriend would. I thought I finally found someone who would give me and my daughter the life we deserved. However, after we moved into his mansion, it was like Paul became a different person. Mom's fiancé started reminding her every chance he got that he had lifted us out of poverty, and we should be grateful to him for the rest of our lives. It pissed me off. Mom, I liked living in our little house and spending evenings with you more than listening to this jerk that only loves money. Mom was surprised to find out that I didn't like our new life. So when Paul told her to be grateful next time, Paul, we need to break up. You should have seen his face. What? You want for nothing? I knew that you would become greedy eventually. Anyway, we left, slamming the door on our way out, and that was the end of our rich life. It felt so good to move back into my tiny room without all that expensive nonsense. However, everyone at school immediately realized that I went back to being poor. Mia, where are your cool car and personal driver? She's probably going to come to school on a private jet now. What happened, Mia? Where are your fancy clothes? That really hurt to hear. That rich man kicked her mom out, and now Mia is a beggar again. Charlie suddenly jumped up to that jerk and pushed him. Leave me alone or you'll be dealing with me. He was so furious that those idiots scattered. I walked over to Charlie. Thank you for standing up for me. Don't thank me. I hate it when good people are made fun of. It's like everyone these days thinks what matters is the amount of money you have and not what you're like as a person. I was very touched. I thought the same thing. Charlie, do you want to have dinner with me and my mom? I'd love to. I haven't eaten homemade food in ages. The atmosphere at dinner was great. We laughed and chatted like a real family. Charlie, you're great. Few people your age would try to live independently. It must be very hard. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it is hard, but I'm not about to give up. I'm so glad you transferred to our school and we became friends. The doorbell suddenly rang. Who could it be? I'm gonna open it. Charlie and I exchanged glances. He stayed where he was, and I quietly looked out into the hall. Wow, that was a lot of flowers. Darling, I feel miserable without you. Let's start all over again. Mom hesitated. All of a sudden, Paul noticed Charlie's jacket and asked, "Do you have guests?" I left the living room and asked Charlie to come out. "Hello, Paul, this is my classmate." "Charlie?" They stared at each other, their eyes bulging in shock. What was going on? Do you know each other? Unfortunately, that's my damn son. Oh my god, Mom and I weren't expecting that. Paul was Charlie's rich dad. You must come home at once. You look like you're a beggar. What if one of my acquaintances sees you? It would be a disaster. Let them see. I want them to know that your son couldn't bear hearing your countless reproaches and chose to live in poverty. They were so angry at each other, Paul's eyes were bloodshot. We had to intervene or they would have killed each other right at our house. That's enough, Paul. You really are being awful. Money without love and family support is meaningless. My daughter is right. Paul, you will never be happy until you understand this. Mom's ex-fiancé left, slamming the door on his way out. Surprisingly, life got better after we came back home. First of all, Mom told Charlie he would live with us, and he agreed. Soon he found a better job than handing out leaflets on the street. Meanwhile, Mom finally got a job that she had studied for not far from home, and we stopped counting every cent. We bought new clothes, started renovating our flat, and were blissfully happy. I turned 16 and decided to help my family. Now, in the evenings, I worked as a waitress in a cozy cafe. Charlie and I grew close. Felt like he really was my brother. The other students noticed it and stopped teasing us as much as they used to. However, Paul still wouldn't calm down. Just imagine. He even showed up at school and presented a bunch of different equipment he was gifting it. Everyone found out Charlie had a rich father. "Charlie, would you like to sit at our table? Let's hang out after school. I've always thought you were great." "Sorry, girls, but I have plans." That night we were having dinner together when the doorbell rang again. It was Paul, but he wasn't holding a bouquet and looked like a kicked puppy. "I watched you spend time together through the window. You looked like a real family. I never had anything like that, and I realized happiness is not about how much money you have." "What? Did Paul finally get it?" We gaped at him in surprise. "Charlie, son, and you, my love. And Mia, forgive me if you can." None of us were expecting that. Do you think Charlie and Mom should forgive Paul and give him a second chance? Tell us in the comments down below.
Hey squad! Like to see your life in comics? Stories that are so embarrassing that even friends do not know about them. Don't say you don't have such ones. They belong on the Anon Please channel. Check it out! Click here.